Well, nice to see everyone. Welcome. We'll start with some of the slides with the teachings. Also start with an introduction to open intelligence. Open intelligence, awareness, our mind, is something about us that is always stable and clear. It's what's looking right now. Just like a crystal ball is unaffected by whatever images appear, the nature of mind, open intelligence, remains lucid and clear regardless of data, all our thoughts, emotions, and sensations that arise within it. So with this crystal ball, we can recognize an indestructible aspect of our mind, open intelligence, something about us that never changes, that is always present and is innate. And when we look at a crystal ball and look at the reflections within it, they can be nice ones, like here with the sunset. But there can be also wild ones and negative images, and the reflections in the crystal ball don't affect the crystal ball. So it's unaffected by whatever the reflections are, and that's what we get to know when we get to know open intelligence, that stable, clear, indestructible essence of our own being. And short moments is something we'll hear throughout this meetup and everywhere in the teachings, is a method to tap into and to acknowledge or confirm open intelligence already present. So we get to know the choice that we have to either focus on the content of mind, so on the descriptions of the reflections, now here in the crystal ball metaphor, or on open intelligence, on the essence and the fundamental essence of everything, the crystal clear clarity, the indestructibility. So open intelligence. So we have a choice in every moment to see, okay, will we go with the descriptions of all the thoughts and emotions, or do we rest as open intelligence? Take a short moment of open intelligence. And just knowing about this choice, maybe we don't really know what open intelligence is or what to rest as. When we hear about open intelligence, it becomes, it dawns on us more and more, because it's so natural, innate, and nothing we need to cultivate. We don't need to cultivate a certain experience. We confirm and get to know something about us that is just naturally present, at ease. So resting naturally, like you have just completed a hard task, just sitting there resting. We don't have to be anywhere special or hold the body in any special position. We don't have to do anything. All we do is rest naturally as open intelligence. Take a short moment of open intelligence and repeat it many times. As we do so, confidence in open intelligence increases over time. So that's the simple tool to recognize, make open intelligence obvious, like throughout our day, just whenever we remember to do so, we take a short moment. And when we're sitting here, having also the entire view of the valleys, that's really like when we rest as open intelligence, there's a complete view. Everything is seen all at once. We are not blindsided by all the descriptions of our thoughts and emotions. We still feel everything. So we still have lots of feelings, emotions, thoughts, because it's impossible to stop them or to make them into something special. So that would be far more work. So resting naturally is allowing everything to be as it is. And okay, we don't have to sit in a special position or sit at all. We can be walking, doing things, and we can take short moments. And it repeated many times, we'll have it repeated many times, the short moments. It's just, as most of you here also know, that the repetition empowers the recognition and makes it more and more obvious. And we want to see it in our own experience rather than think about it. So we just, whenever we remember, take a short moment, we'll see the benefits.
Even though open intelligence is innate, we have to acknowledge it because it has gone unnoticed. So, yeah, the nature of mind, as it's also called, is the nature of mind. So it isn't something we have to get or we have to create or we have to earn through effort and become worthy of. It's innate. It's the truest truth about who we really are that we can ever come across. But because we have always focused on the content of mind or like the reflections in the crystal ball, so to speak, we get distracted very quickly. Like, even though this recognition of open intelligence is really powerful and beautiful and pleasant for most people, uh, we tend to forget pretty quickly and then also maybe even make this experience into yet another thing that we then try to re-experience. So all we need to do is to come back to that simple recognition and we acknowledge it again and again so that it's less and less unnoticed and it's becoming more and more a stable, felt, vivid presence in our day-to-day life. Short moments of uncontrived open intelligence launch continuous, unending open intelligence. Initially, open intelligence may be momentary and occasional. However, by the power of short moments, open intelligence grows increasingly obvious. Its spontaneous presence is increasingly obvious. Open intelligence has always been present. We just didn't notice it. Short moments of uncontrived open intelligence are the means to inexhaustibly expand open intelligence within all data. Yeah, so simply by repeating it again and again, much like when you think back as a kid when you learned something new. I mean, that's still true today, but it's most obvious in children how we as children repeat things again and again and it then becomes like more and more natural, spontaneous and obvious. And it's the same here, only that this is really much easier because we're not learning something new. Again, we're not creating something. We're introduced to open intelligence and then return to the introduction again and again and acknowledge and confirm that it's already spontaneously present. There is no moment in our life that lacks open intelligence. The only thing that might lack is whether it's obvious to us or not. But even when it's not obvious, open intelligence is always present. So we can always come back to it. There is no circumstance, no relationship, no internal data, no external data that are in opposition to it or that make it impossible to recognize open intelligence because all the data are only appearing in, of, as, and through open intelligence to us.
And here we can examine the ways how we handle our thoughts and emotions. How do we deal with them when they come up, like negative emotions, for example, like anger, irritation? Then we might indulge the story and the thoughts and the feelings, like anger and irritation, for example. We make a story out of it, or we think why we are angry, and or we have a situation that we indulge in, or we avoid something, we avoid a person or a situation or circumstance that might trigger some yeah, intense feelings, and or we replace, I think, okay, we have to have positive thoughts only, and then or we replace, try to get rid of our negative emotions and try to cultivate compassion, for example. So that's the replace. And then short moments empowers that fourth way of dealing with thoughts and emotions. They leave it as they are, left as they are. So thoughts and emotions are left as they are. We let them be as they are without trying to change them in any way. But that's only possible when we recognize open intelligence, because sometimes we don't want to like accept something. It's hard to accept, or even we don't necessarily need to like something to let data be as they are. So this is a simple way and overview to recognize throughout our day what we do with things, with thoughts, with emotions, with the experiences that come up throughout the day. Because upon waking up, we have thoughts, we have a feeling, we have sensations. And often we are just really busy with managing them and trying to feel better and have ways, antidotes, have activities that try to, yeah, get rid of or change and alter our experience. And it's not about an extreme to sit all day and do nothing and rest naturally, but it is about really making friends, so to speak, with all our thoughts and emotions. And and that is with the short moments of open intelligence that becomes possible. Not being afraid, it's a fearlessness. Mm. So there's no need to indulge, renounce, transform, refine, or analyze data. Simply let each data stream flow on by. Nothing need be done about data. The only reality of data is open intelligence. Data shine forth within open intelligence, like rays of the sun shine within the sun. That's beautiful just to read that. It's it's an instinctive relief or instinctive moment of recognition. That's what the texts in these teachings also do. They evoke open intelligence because we know there's something about us where that is true. So that is an instinctive recognition of open intelligence. Going through these teachings furthers this instinctive recognition, because initially it might feel like we're trying hard to understand or even trying hard to take a short moment. And all of that drops away after a while. So it's, yeah, that's just how we also approach things, trying hard to achieve something. And so it also with short moments or with recognizing open intelligence. So that drops away when it gets more and more natural and uncontrived. And so nothing needs to be done about data, which was very revolutionary for me, trying especially the approach of psychology as my background, trying to change or refine data, analyze, hoping to feel better and have a release. And it's not like an extreme, however, recognizing open intelligence was the perfect way to, I mean, it solved everything. I always felt there was something missing going through entire psychology studies and therapy education. So then with meditation, like adding on meditation, I thought, well, this will maybe solve it. But then a certain kind of meditation that also tries to achieve certain states or needing to tame the mind or empty the mind in a simple way now. It was also so much effort. So kind of like the short moments, the effortless way, even though initially it felt like effort, taking short moments and trying to sort out, yeah, what that is really. Yeah, then it becomes more clear that nothing needs to be done about thoughts and emotions. All that data self-release, and that self-release becomes more and more instinctive, obvious, and without obviously needing to look for it. So then there's just self-release within all data. And that doesn't mean that we don't have data. It means more that we are free within data and the immediacy of our perception. There's a freedom and ease and the power, the energy of open intelligence that we can rely on in everyday life. Yeah, so short moments of open intelligence many times becomes continuous, so the open intelligence becomes continuous. Great, I guess we could pause here so we can have shares and questions. Right. Nice to see everyone. Yeah, if you have a question, also share about question about the 12 empowerments. Some of you are in the 12 empowerments or have done them, then also happy to hear anything. Or anything we could elaborate on further.
I can ask a question, Kathy.
Yes, great.
Well, in when you start practicing open intelligence, is there any suggestions on how to? It's like a trainer that at the gym that tells you 40 sit-ups and 50 push-ups, so that you remember, because this is like a muscle, it's almost like a choice that you have to be trained to do, so that when the appearance, I mean, some appearances, if you're traveling on vacation and you see this beautiful landscape and, like the pictures you show and it's just open and the only thing you can see is open intelligence, but then, life happens and this quick reaction of like, okay, this is the appearance, I have to choose something else. Like, it's kind of like a fraction of a second when you decide to indulge in the appearance or try to escape it or try to fix it or just relax the appearance. But that fraction of a second choice, it seems like it's like a muscle you have to develop because uh, it's easy for me to I know how to perceive open intelligence, but then I'm also very quick to react to things depending on what it is. And
Yeah.
and some days is weird. It's almost like weather. Some days it's easy to perceive open intelligence or perceive reality from that point of view. And some other days it's just even when I'm consciously trying to do it, there is some weather happening. I just call it weather. That it's just that resistance. Like a real resistance. Like I need to fix this, and that's all I need to do today. And
Yeah.
that I don't know. It's kind of like that for me so far.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's already, it's powerful how you share about that because that's really true. It's you're recognizing open intelligence. It seems like you're taking short moments and it's obvious throughout the day, but then when there's a lot of strong weather coming through, when there are lots of data that or life circumstances that bring up difficulties. And of course, sometimes we feel very strongly that something needs to change. And and how to train that muscle. And that's a good, I like that as a metaphor, actually. uh, I like to use that because it is really, it is the short moments, and the short moments come in many forms, like with the media, with meetups like this, because sometimes it's difficult to take a short moment, especially when the data are strong, when circumstances or relationships aren't easy. And like you say, the reaction is quick, it's very habitual, and and also it can feel too scary or resistant to take a short moment actually, or it's not even on the radar. It feels like,
Yeah.
wow, then we are already like down the line. So the first thing is perfect whenever one remembers, even reacted down the line, you remember short moment, that is actually a really perfect moment. Nothing is lost, or I mean, obviously one really wishes to instinctively recognize open intelligence in the moment. The surge of data come and one wants to react. And that with the muscle, with more and more familiarity and confidence, that's what instinctively happens. It just happens. Um, that's the 12 empowerments probably are like a boot camp, if you want to see it like that, because it's kind of a condensed way. It's 12 parts, and it sort of stretches out what is a short moment, what is so that first of all, and then it furthers the instinctive nature of a short moment, because you have all the four mainstays at all times within that kind of step-by-step process, which in the end is just all the instinctive recognition of open intelligence. But it dives into one's life. Where is it difficult? Where do I react? You know, what is it? Have getting to know also the reaction as energy of open intelligence, which isn't a license or say, okay, I can do whatever I want because everything is appearing as open intelligence. But we actually see even reactions and everything as appearing as open intelligence, which then opens up a recognition of the energy of open intelligence that is entirely beneficial, right? Naturally, one wants to be of benefit. And then also how changes come about. The empowerments have parts of it that are also about action, because rest is best. However, it doesn't mean that we are always just not doing anything. There's a very clear action that comes from clear seeing, right? That's also
Yes.
good to know. Right? But
Yeah.
but yes, great to hear how you are practicing throughout. So whenever one remembers down the line after, so to speak, or while reacting, it's a perfect moment to recognize.
Yes. Sometimes it's a second too late, but I mean, you still
Yeah,
catch.
it feels a second too late, but then one rests with feeling, maybe even a guilt or feeling, oof, what happened
Yeah.
there? So you actually
Yeah.
feel that as the energy of open intelligence, which is,
Yes.
obviously
There
one.
is there is a lot
Yeah,
of that too. Like it's like, oh gosh, half a day went by and I haven't really connected with something intelligent. Like
yeah.
so kind of that becomes also like a feedback that I should, is another thought, I guess.
Yeah, it's another thought. And actually then the next short moment, the more we actually have contact with open intelligence, the more it will be instinctive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, so hearing about it, like listening to some of the talks or reading a book or coming to meetings like this, will make it also more obvious. But it's kind of powerful going half a day without anything. Wow, okay. But then you actually rest with everything as it is. So
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you for sharing. Nice to see you.
Same here.
I had a question.
Hmm.
In previous teachings that I've studied, um, it wasn't that you were told to do this, but I guess my question is, when you see folks, whether they're strangers or people in a restaurant, um, I I used to view people as spirit, as a special, not special, but somehow they were more than their body. They weren't just what we're seeing in front of us. Is that clear so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
So my question is, I guess, is there a recommend or a way to be with people and, see them as open intelligence, or see them as, you know, flawless awareness, and not try to make anything else out of it, that they are they have the same awareness or open intelligence that we have. That there's no difference. So is it just, I guess my question is it just to acknowledge at that moment, and it's not that these people are threatening in any way, they're just humans, walking down the street, like we went on vacation and you see lots of people with babies, and you're just seeing folks. So is it that, um, is a great time for each of us, or for myself, to acknowledge the open intelligence in myself, and that automatically, connects me up more with those people that I don't even know.
Mm.
You following what I'm
Hmm.
I guess you're
Yeah,
following me.
it's really beautiful. And I think, your previous practice of acknowledging spirit is probably not that different from it. I think maybe you have a different or a slightly different perspective on what that really is or means. Um, but that's really beautiful, and it sounds like already very natural and
Yeah,
spontaneous for you. And you're right. It's also very powerful to see, especially when we have, I don't know, conflicting opinions maybe about things, or different wishes and motivations, or maybe I don't know if that ever comes up for you, that there are people that we don't like. They could be politicians, they could be business people, or there are lots of people typically that can push our buttons, and without accepting or rejecting their opinions or our own opinions. We don't need to do anything about the data, ours or theirs. Just looking through all of that into the heart of open intelligence that's sitting across the table, so to speak, whether literally or figuratively, is so connecting. It's so beautiful. And we don't even need to practice compassion, forgiveness, or understanding as a thing anymore. It's so built into when we really see that all beings are essentially unified in that way, you could say, connected and ultimately the same, even though we all look really different, and we have very different data sets and opinions and preferences and motivations and aspirations and all of that. When you really look deeply, all we find is open intelligence and the spontaneous arising of dynamic energy in whatever form it arises. And it's really difficult to get into a feisty argument when we recognize that in the other person and in ourselves. It's very, very connecting, I'd say, and sometimes humbling, sometimes joyful. It can bring up all kinds of experiences, but it's a beautiful practice. We don't necessarily recommend it as an additional practice because it also comes from just recognizing ourselves as open intelligence more and more. It also becomes obvious that this other being is essentially just like us. Yeah. So, but that sounds really beautiful.
and I had one other comment. I purchased a marimba. I was a trumpet player and I
Mm.
play piano, but I said, I've got the time, let me purchase a marimba. And what I've been doing with it is I took the teachings, and instead of trying to practice at a long period for a long period of time. What I've been doing is taking short moments of practice, and it's incredible because there's no burden that I have to practice 28 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, and then I'll get better. It's just let me do this for 3 minutes, and then I sit down and do something else, and it's worked. It's worked beautifully. That wouldn't be too popular amongst musicians, though. I don't think. They got to practice. They got to keep playing to get better.
Right.
But that's perfect. Yeah. That's
It's
good.
pretty cool.
Great. Yes. Because it's also really doable. One shot moment, like when we feel overwhelmed, taking one shot moment is possible. When we think we have to take lots of short moments and make open intelligence obvious at all times, it seems sometimes like a big mountain. Yeah. So, or just reading one sentence out of a book, open intelligence book. Or listening 1 minute. Yeah, it's perfect. Anyone else would like to ask something or maybe share how the 12 empowerments have supported short moments in relationships? But also happy for questions.
I can share. Good
Yes,
morning.
Larry, good morning.
I'm on Empowerment 6 and moving along. In the email sent this week, it says, let data be as they are, or let all data be as, what is it? Allowing data to be as it is. And in the clarification, it was absolutely beautiful because there was a trying to rest as anxiety or rest as disappointment or rest as happiness. And there was a distinction between me, it became a me, and there was a thing to do. But then it became very clear in the email, it said it beautifully, which was it's not trying to rest in the data and let it be okay. It's recognizing what the data actually is, which is it's not separate from the thing that's appearing, which is it's all the same thing. It's all there's not a me trying to deal with anxiety. Uh, uh, it's the recognition of what's appearing and who thinks they're perceiving it. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just tell you my direct experience, which there is no person experiencing, because the person is part of the data that's appearing, and there's no separation between it. And that is the ease. It's a natural ease that occurs because there's no doer. There's not a doer doing something to get something away. It's actually the experience of the isness of what is, and everything's fine because there's no threat. And that was the experience. And that email actually poked it through, really, because the other way of trying was not successful. It did not bring, it was a trying, a doing, and a failure. the mind said it was a failure. That too is a data. But that was a very illuminating shift, that being with what data appears is not me being with objects in a world. And that's my experience. And that's my 2 cents.
Great, great, yes. And empowerment 6 is also getting ready to allow data to be as it is, right? It's exactly in that kind of recognition, instinctive recognition of letting data be as it is, where the trying drops away.
Exactly.
Great.
So beautiful, Kathy. It's so obvious, and ease, the ease of being is so different than the trying of being.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you for sharing. That's great. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, empowerment 6 is getting ready to allow data to be as it is. So the good thing is it's not even like letting data be as it is, it's getting entirely ready. And I always love that. And then 7, and then it eases into the 7. But and it's all like the 12 empowerments they have. Once when you go through them, it isn't really clear what's in the logical way happening, but that's also not needed. It's all instinctive. And then afterwards, it becomes more clear. But it took me a long time until I actually could remember each empowerment because they all blend into one, which then, but then they are very specific, each one. Yeah, great. Let's see if we have other shares or questions there. Yeah, not.
Hello, I have a sharing and one question. First of all, I always have the feeling that I'm bathing in a big bucket of blessings here with the 12 empowerments, and by everything that is being said here. So I can witness that the 12 empowerments are following the 12 empowerments this year has really helped me tremendously, going through a difficult personal situation. And about that, so I have a question. So the difficult personal situation is a separation. I mean, my husband left after a long time, and I have been spending quite some time feeling and thinking kind of shortly, he did this to me. So very a painful duality. And the more it was dual, the more it was painful. But now it is as if it has blended into the same kind of fabric of my awareness, open intelligence, and I have a hard time thinking he, me, uh, okay, so all data and all people, everything in our experience is within and is our open intelligence, right? So everybody who appears in my experience is appearing in my experience as open intelligence. It's not, of course, maybe probably, I mean, there are, I don't know, people out there, or they we can perceive it, they're out there, but since it is an appearance and emergence of open intelligence, so there is no point of feeling that he did this to me, or I don't know, is that correct to say so? Am I being clear?
You're very clear, and I think it's really a powerful demonstration of that settling, of that deepening of the instinctive, spontaneous way of being as open intelligence, where all data are just that seamless blending and expanse, and all the stories kind of fade away. We can still find them. And you might have experiences sometimes where it's still very clear what the story is, so to speak. It's helpful as a human being on this planet to not be completely oblivious to what's happening in the world around us and our role in it and other people's role in it. But in my experience, it becomes less and less like the truth or the only reality from which I experience myself and the relationship. So it's still included in it. Like, I can still talk about, of course, like my upbringing, my parents, their role in like forging my particular data set. That happens to be very different than other people's data because we all were brought up a different way. And so there is a naturalness in our uniqueness and in the relationships. But your experience, especially of such a painful circumstance, is really a beautiful illustration of how we're not a victim of it. So it still can appear as that storyline, but we're free even when that happens. So like right now, it sounds like you're free even from the whole story, and it's just the raw experience of your life as it is, without any elaboration, without any story.
Let's see. Yeah, I haven't met him again, so I don't know.
Right, and that's why I'm kind of preparing that you might have the story come up again, and then that's part of that seamless display as well, So it's if that does come back in that way, it's not a failure. It doesn't say anything. It just means that's the next appearance that arises, and it can blend into the same seamless expanse. So that's the beauty for me always of with this teaching is that there is no way out. Like whatever appears, it's just the momentary expression of this dynamic energy of open intelligence. And there are these milestones, you could say, like recognizing in this example in yourself that the stories fade away more and more. But then when something unexpected happens, or when we're in a challenging situation and we feel entirely differently, it's not a failure. It's just whatever appears then. And you can, the reset button is right there. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. That's really beautiful. Yeah.
And in a ways, in my day-to-day life, like I'm mending some things in my house, or I'm active, but I have a feeling that I don't know. It's not that I'm Alzheimer. I hope not, or oblivious or dull. I don't think so. But so many things have left me, or kind of. I don't find the word, but just it's kind of equal. It's also different, as I have been defining myself all my life as being very strongly engaged and doing, and but okay, it's different. Yeah. It's good.
The equalness and evenness, right? I think it's empowerment 10 and 11 that go into the equalness and evenness of all data. And yeah. And you're still you, right? Like it's there's also the unchanging essence within the equalness and evenness.
And sometimes I was just feeling that maybe I'm missing it all because it's kind of feels so normal, so common, or I don't know. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I spent some days asking myself, well, but Natalie, maybe you are missing it all. You are just telling yourself stories, and okay, up and down, and then I find myself okay. So yeah.
That's great. And I think that it's very powerful. That's gaining confidence in open intelligence. Stories drop away, things that were important, release. There's a self-release. There's nothing going on, and everything going on, and nothing going on. It's like it's and that gain more and more confidence. And then things happen in life. It feels intense. It doesn't feel equal and even, and that's equal and even as well. And then again, next, and it just deepens forever. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I think,
you.
yeah, you're on a perfect gaining confidence way. Mhm. Thank you for sharing. It's very powerful. Mhm. Mm. Yeah, there's in the intensity, there's no intensity, and in the suffering, there's no suffering. This becomes more a direct experience, more and more like that. We hear the ease of being. There's something, and that pervades more and more. And in the process of gaining confidence in open intelligence and having gone through the 12 empowerments or going through the empowerments, it's not a linear thing. Sometimes we have difficult times, and for me, difficult times, so to speak, intense times were actually afterwards I could see, wow, yeah, this really contributed to my stability and depth of recognition and practice. So over the years, it was really, it would feel like, oh, it goes, I'm losing something, go backwards. But actually then it deepened a confidence that there was no more doubt and everything could be felt in a way that wasn't, I wasn't able to do that before. And then to understand what actually true compassion and fearlessness is within everything. So yeah, mhm, and it's always one short moment at a time because we only have this moment right here, but there's a short moment right here. So we don't even have to get to some kind of confidence. That's just generally speaking now. There's never a destination. I can always say, oh, I can just take this short moment here. And if I cannot take a short moment, I read a sentence from the book or listen to a talk. That can sometimes help a short moment. Yeah. See if you have anyone else would like to ask or share. Yeah, so empowerment one starts with we give up the right to be a victim by relying on short moments. And sometimes throughout people were asking, well, but I still feel like a victim. That's also an appearance. So we don't really have to feel bad when we feel affected by something. And that feeling that we can even take a short moment and rest with those data. Yeah. Yeah. See, also I see Rebecca, I think maybe that's your first time here. Could be. If you would like to ask something, you're welcome. Just see your name there as well. but also fine just to listen. There's also an iPhone mini. Mhm. That's good. We could, for me, having Tuesday here, we can maybe go also through the themes of the 12 empowerments again for the next couple of meetings. That's
I have
also,
something,
yes.
if no one else.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing that this teaching has helped clear it. It's just great. But there would be this feeling that if someone, like, tell you what happened. So we were at the beach and went down to the beach, and I went with my wife, and we had, it was very cool, and we had a nice time, and then we came up and ate lunch. So then she said, are you coming down after lunch? So I said, well, I don't know. And the thing that I was saying used to happen a lot, not just when we're on vacation, but, I just want to be alone. I want to do my own thing. This would happen when it would happen. So she said, are you going down? And then I said, I don't know if I'm going down. And then I said to myself, like, why not go down? Why not go down to the beach? What's gonna give something more important? But this is like an old uh, data, that when we go to the beach, I didn't go down at in the afternoon after lunch. So I said, what? And it triggered the thought of how I wouldn't go down. Yeah, in other words, that thought, what's going to stop me from going down? So I got my hat or whatever. I went down and she turned around. I said, hi. And she went, oh, you surprised me. Yeah. And it felt so clear. And it wasn't like I was forcing myself to go down. It just was naturally. And those kinds of things, they just keep, kind of stuff just keeps happening like that. Where why do I have to pay attention to what happened before? Now I'm free of that. Yeah, it was like a freedom. That's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
that was
beautiful.
it was pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is really beautiful. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. There's really like there you can see how changes in relationship and especially in the relationship with oneself, with one's own past and our own thoughts and how that affects. Yeah, that's a very beautiful example.
And it seems like there's really no effort. It's not like, well, I have to do open intelligence now, and then I'll end up being freer.
Yeah.
It's not, you just do it when you can do it, like you've said several times, and it's really cool because so many other things in life, if you do this, then that will happen. And if you do, Candace said something when some woman came up to her and said, I'm tired of my husband and the kids, and she went through a litany of different things. Candace said, well, oh, so she said, I'm not the teacher for you. I don't get into that stuff.
Right. It was like she wanted to leave them, right?
Yeah.
And
And have
then
a teacher who would support that.
right. Yeah.
That
And
was
then
cool.
yeah, I guess as well. That's right there. The practice is in the midst of life.
Wow. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, we once said somehow like, oh, can we go into a mountain retreat and just practice open intelligence? And say, no, no, life is the retreat. Stay in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life is a retreat. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, that's good. Thank you, everyone. That's good to hear from you. Thank you for sharing, and see you next week again. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
So nice to
Thank
see you
you.
all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.